and welcome to my YouTube channel, Neri the Coder. Today we are going to be talking about JavaScript fundamentals. We are going to dive into the fundamental topics of JavaScript and we will write our first Hello World program. But before diving into the lecture, please make sure you watch the previous lectures on outline of the JavaScript and then introduction to JavaScript so that you can follow along. Yeah, so let's get started with the new lecture. Our first JavaScript program, let's see how we attach a script to a web page. JavaScript programs can be inserted almost anywhere into an HTML document using the script tag. If you already have worked with HTML, and I'm assuming that you have played around some HTML and you know how to create some HTML tags, then you might have come across a script tag. The script tag contains JavaScript code. Within this script, you write your JavaScript code, which is automatically executed when the browser processes the tag. So when you write your code within the script tags and you save the file and then open the file in the browser, then the browser automatically processes the script and they know that, okay, there is a JavaScript script tag, and they execute the JavaScript for you. The script tag has few attributes that are rarely used nowadays but can still be found in our code. Yeah, let's just let's just create a file, JavaScript file, and see how we can run our first code in JavaScript. So let's just open our Visual Studio Code. It's already installed. If you don't know how to install it, just watch my previous video. You can download from there on the website. And yeah, let's just create our first file. You can just click to the Explorer icon and then press this plus icon. You'll just have an untitled file open. I can just save it, and I can save it anywhere I want. And for example, I'm gonna save it here. I'm gonna just name it anything, for example demo.html, and I'll save the file. And I'm gonna create a very basic HTML5 page for now, which we will call, our title would be demo.html. And just to write our first script of JavaScript, we will just create a script tag. We'll open and then close it, and then within this script tags, between the script tags, we can write our first HTML. Let me just close the left tab. Yeah, I think it's better. Yeah, so just to write or print our first hello world, what we can do is I can just print it like this, and I can say hello world, and I can save the file. You can just press Control plus S, that will save automatically your file. So sorry for the mistake. When I save the file, I can just go ahead and open the file which I've just created. It will just be opened in my browser. So yeah, you can see the link to the file. It's already open and the title is demo. But what I have to do is to inspect it, because the console message is not shown directly on the page itself. We can also write to the page itself if we want to, but for now we have the console message. You have to go to the console tab, and you can already see the hello world that we have just written in our demo.html page on line number 13. So if I go to my code back, you can see on line number 13 in the script tag I've written this. If we want to write something on the page and you don't want to open your console, then you can just write something like document.write. Sorry for the code. And I can say hello world. And I can save it. For example, I'll just comment it out for now so that it's not executed. We'll learn about comments as well in the later videos, but just for the demonstration purpose, I wanted to show. So when I refresh it, you can see the hello world over here. So yeah, this is pretty cool. We have written our first JavaScript hello world. So yeah, the script tag has few attributes that we were talking about, and they're rarely used nowadays but can still be found in old code if the code is too old. The type attribute, so as you have seen that in our script tag, we are not specifying anything like that as of now, because this is a new version HTML5, and we no longer need that. So we don't need to specify the language because the default language is always JavaScript. And an old HTML standard HTML4 required to have a type and could be written as type equal text or JavaScript. We had to specify a type of the script that we are executing in this between the tags. It is not required anymore, as I mentioned. And there is another attribute that we're not using anymore. That is a language attribute, and it was meant to show the language of the script. So of course, since JavaScript is the default language of on the browsers, so we no longer need to specify that. So this attribute no longer makes sense because JavaScript is the default language of on all of the browsers. So yeah, comments before and after the script. So in really old books and guides, you may find comments inside the script tags like this. So it's not very clear, but I'll show you what it really means. When I open the script tag, and I'll just remove the script, and you would have find, for example, something like this. So if you find something like this in the code, it means that it's a really old code. And what it really means is this comment hide JavaScript code from old browsers that didn't know how to process the script tag. So since it was not supported before on the browser, so that's why they had to comment out the script, this JavaScript, just to ignore the tags, to ignore the script. Browsers released in the last 15 years don't have this issue now, so we no longer need to worry about it. And also, let's talk about external scripts. If you have a lot of JavaScript code, we can put it into a separate file. So until now, what we did is like we ran our first JavaScript script within the script tags, within the HTML page. But what if I have multiple pages and I have a lot of JavaScript code? I can even create a separate script file for the JavaScript and save it in different separate files. So, or if we want to run the same code in multiple files, for that reason we can just create external scripts. Script files are attached to HTML with the src attribute. So for example, if I want to attach a script file, for example, I create a simple script file and I want to attach a file to this HTML page. I want to run that code in this HTML page. What I have to do is specify this attribute, and we can just then put the path to the script file wherever we are saving the script file. We can just specify path to that, and it will be executed by the script automatically. Script src, and you can see here the example path to the script file. We can name it anything, but for now I just named it script.js, and let's just do it practically so then we can have a better sense of that. So let's just create a new file. We can use a shortcut for this. For creating a new file, we can just Ctrl+N and it will just open a new file. We can name it, for example, scripts.js. Just make sure that you specify the .js extension, and that means that it's a JavaScript file. We can save it. We don't need to specify any script tags or anything like that in the JavaScript file. We can write our JavaScript code directly in this file. So we can say console log hello world from external JavaScript file, and we can just save it. And since we have created this file in the same directory, then we can just say okay, script.js file. Since it is in the same directory, if you open this file, you can see that they are in the same directory. So we can just save the file. We don't need to write anything within the script tags, in between the script tags. We just have to specify the file name and save it, and that's all. Once I open the browser, we don't see anything because I have did the console log. So you'll see the message over here in the console tab. You can see hello world from external JavaScript file, and you can see that this code is coming from the scripts.js file, since even we are running it in within the HTML file. But yeah, since we have written the code in the scripts.js file, you can see the line number, and that is coming from there. So this is basically how we write our JavaScript and external files. We can also attach multiple script files. So yeah, this is more interesting. For example, I have more scripts that I want to attach. For example, this is file number 1, and I copy this and create a new file and save it as scripts2.js, and I paste the same message over here, but I'll just modify it just for clarification. What I can do is I have already one script imported or attached. I can link another one as well, and since this file name is scripts2.js, we can just specify the file name like that. We can save it, and when I move to the browser and refresh my page, you can see hello world from external JS file. This is the number 1, this is the number 2. You can see the file names over here, scripts.js, scripts2.js, and the line numbers where the code is specifically executed from. So yeah, this is how we can link multiple external JavaScript files into HTML. Moving forward, as a rule, only the simplest scripts are put into HTML. More complex one resides in separate files. So it makes more sense, to write like just a small amount of code in HTML or none at all. Or if you have a lot of code that you want to write and you want to access by multiple HTML pages, then the better way to do it is just to create, different scripts files as we did. The benefit of a separate file is that the browser will download it and store it in its cache. So every time you load a JavaScript, you load the browser, it will download the scripts files for you. So if you have written the files in the script separate files, then the browser will download it once, and across all of your HTML pages, it will load the cached one. So it will do it automatically for you. Other pages that reference the same script will take it from the cache instead of downloading it, so the file is actually downloaded only once. That reduces traffic and makes the pages faster. So for now, we just had only one HTML page, so that didn't really make sense, and we just had one line of code. But in real world application, you'll have thousands of lines of codes and more than hundreds of HTML pages. And then it doesn't really make sense to download all of those scripts and pages on each refresh. So this will be cached, and it will be read from the cache from the other pages, from other HTML pages. Just make sure that if the source attribute is set, the script content is ignored. What it means is, for example, I have a script tag and I'm linking an external file in the script. So if I write, for example, a script inside the console and between the script tags, and for example I say hi from script tag, then this code will not be executed. It will be ignored because we are already linking an external file in the scripts tag, so this code will be ignored at all. So only one of this will work. So if you want to write your internal code in the script tags, you just have to remove it just to make sure it works that way. We'll see in refresh the page, you can see the hello world from JS file 1 and JS file 2, but you do not see the console or print message from the tag inside. What if I get rid of this and then save it? When I refresh the page, you can see hi from the script. Now it is executed, and you can see it's been executed from demo HTML line number 13. So yeah, this is what we mean by the If the source attribute is set, the script's content is ignored. A single script tag cannot have both the source attribute and code inside, so you just have to get rid of one of them and then your code will run. The external JavaScript file should be created with a .js extension. So if you want to create your new JavaScript file, external JavaScript file, it must be with the .js extension. You cannot link you cannot create a script file that has a different extension or other than .js file. So yeah, that's all for the course, and I hope that you have learned something new from this course, from this lecture. Please like and share the video and subscribe to the channel, and make sure to press the bell icon for future updates. And until then, I'll see you in the next lecture.